Welcome, everyone, to another My Pinnacle Network, South Shore Networking Professionals, and Rockland Trust webinar. Today's webinar is on the topic of 26 ways to attract the best and brightest. Our featured guest owns her own recruiting and HR company. She is a certified coach. She is a former adjunct professor at UMass Dartmouth and Bristol Community College. She currently runs her own firm in a time where many companies are desperately trying to attract and retain great people. Her name is Debra Parent, and we'll bring her on in a moment. First, I'd like to get greetings from and for our sponsors. Joe, please give greetings from My Pinnacle Network.
Okay, greetings from My Pinnacle Network. We're a business-to-business networking group with 6 locations in greater Boston area. Braintree, Pembroke, Mansfield, Westboro, Needham, and north of Boston. We also have our first in-person live networking event on June the 8th at Stockholders in Weymouth. So we got a lot of good things going on. We're happy to continue to bring you this webinar series and other networking opportunities.
Thank you, Joe. And a note from one of our other sponsors, South Shore Networking Professionals, works with us for these webinars, and also our first live event that Joe just mentioned. Our first live event in 2 years will be at Stockholders, and we hope you can join us. We will be providing reminders and notes about that upcoming event to everybody who's on our email list, which would include those who are on the webinar today. Lastly, greetings from Rockland Trust, who offer a wide range of banking, investment, and insurance services to both businesses and individuals throughout Eastern Mass, both at retail locations, online, and via phone. And with that, I introduce again Debra Parent. And Debra, please lead us through this presentation. Folks who have questions, please put them in the chat and we will relay them to Deb as we receive them. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Steve and Joe, for having me. Hopefully your participants will get something out of it and be able to employ some of these tactics to, one, increase your candidate flow and develop your employer brand at the same time. And let me just jump into it. And again, please send along questions in the chat so I can respond to them. To know, I have not done sort of implemented all of these tactics in one company. I've come from manufacturing. I've also worked in the healthcare industry, having worked for 3 hospitals, and have had my business for six and a half years. And during that time, worked at a variety of industries, smaller businesses for the 6 years. So these tactics can be employed in different industries and different sized organizations. So let me just kind of open with that. But I have not employed all of these tactics at one organization. Pieces of them, right? So just consider what might work for you and your company. And just as sort of to set the table as to why I put this recruitment playbook together throughout the years, I have been developing it and testing it, testing what works, what doesn't work, what's generating results. Obviously, I did it because of the Great Resignation, which we've all heard about. Currently it's an applicant's market, and that's being evidenced when candidates have 2 to 3 offers on the table. I must interview over 100 100 candidates a week easily with the businesses that I support for recruitment. And I learn a lot from the candidates and, what they're looking for, what they're thinking. And they know that they have more opportunities than they ever had. And I would say at least once a week, I do lose candidates who another employer has beaten me to the punch. Either my recruitment process wasn't quick enough, and another employer put an offer on the table of which they accepted, or they just have so many opportunities that they're not willing to commit to my offer because they have 3 other interviews tomorrow. So I'm sure you're experiencing some of that as well. So, and then ghosting employers. That's a phenomenon today, not a good one for employers, for us, where employees, candidates, they just don't respond. They'll set an interview with you, they'll confirm the interview, and then they won't show. Or they accepted the position and then they won't show. And then everything in between. So I'm sure you're experiencing this. And this is why I've kind of generated this recruitment playbook through the years. And I keep refining it and honing it and adding to it. So you do need an architect to develop a recruitment strategy. That's the first thing that I would sort of recommend to any company, big or small. It doesn't matter if you don't have a full-blown HR program. You need a recruitment strategy. It has to be well thought out and well developed to match your culture. Needs to support current and future needs. So for recruitment, the best advice is proactive recruiting, looking for the future, not just looking to fill the vacancy today, but for the future. Dedicate the resources necessary. It may take some money, certainly time, certainly effort to pull off some of these recruitment tactics. So just be prepared for that. And it must be evaluated at regular intervals. Nothing is a one and done with this recruitment playbook. Everything is okay. 6 months ago, we started this play. And, is it working? Is it generating the results that we're looking for? And if it's not, how can we change it so that it does? So it's constantly looking at these individual plays to see if they're working.
Yeah. Deb, can I interject here? There's a question about, can you give somebody the sense of the scope of investment and use an example of a client situation? And maybe you can talk about the engineering recruitment program that you and I have done some work on, of what that really entailed and maybe what that the budget might be without having to reveal who the client is, obviously.
Okay. So I guess the scope is going to depend on how many out of the 29 tactics you want to employ. I would say this. I would say most companies would look at this a 29 tactic playbook, and they select maybe the top 4 or 5 things that they think that they can do, they're willing to do, and then we work on those. For the play that you're referring to, Steve, that's the use of AI, and I'll get to that within the body of the presentation. I think off the top of my head, the investment was, I think probably under $2,000 in total for that particular tactic. But each tactic is going to have its own cost, right? And you select what's going to work for you. So let me get through the presentation. I think that might be clearer as we go. So for this recruitment playbook, a driver is definitely needed in your company. And whether that be an operations manager, an HR manager, a lot of times the CFO is in charge of HR. So one person needs to be held responsible for this playbook and implementing whatever it is that you choose out of the 29 tactics. And know that it does go beyond HR scope. And what do I mean by that? it really touches everything in the company, marketing, managing, how you manage operations, scheduling, what the work schedules are, and even considering altering past job requirements. You know, in the past, we've required a certification, we've required so many years of experience. Now, today, we're going to have to kind of alter that and think out of the box. You know, we're redesigning positions in a lot of companies because we can no longer fill those original positions. We're having to really sort of re-engineer sometimes our positions within our companies. And definitely what we do here with this recruitment strategy, it requires support of senior leadership. You have to have everybody on board. So those are the sort of the caveats that I lay out, only because I've done this at so many companies and I know what you need to make this successful. You need all of that. So just, I want to just sort of lay out this employee value proposition, just so you're thinking about this as you go into this. You know, think broadly and sort of on a macro scale. Okay, starting from scratch, a recruitment strategy. What do employees get out of the deal, i.e. of working for us? And the leadership team as a whole need to think about things other than pay and benefits, because candidates are definitely interested in things other than pay and benefits as well. And where do you get those answers from? Look at your employee satisfaction survey results. If you do them, maybe once a year you do a satisfaction survey. Look at your exit interview results. Look at talk to your recruiters about their experience, what they're experiencing. What are the reasons for your job offer declinations? Why have people declined your job offers? Is it just money? Was it pay? Was it schedule? What was it? And then, of course, comp and benefits market analysis. So if you look at all of these things, you can get some answers as to what do candidates and employees value. A lot of times, I see that companies will want to develop a recruitment strategy, for instance, without looking at the exit interview results. Well, the reasons that employees are leaving might be the same reasons that you can't attract candidates. So it's kind of important that I look at why are employees leaving, and then match that up. Why have I, lost applicants, or why can't I generate applicants? What are the applicants saying to me, and what are the those who have declined offers saying to me? Sometimes that's the same reason. So we definitely have to kind of consider those things, when we start this process. So starting the process, let's just dive right into play one. And each play, and I can tell you that the top 3 plays here are, to me, the most important. So if you do anything, perhaps focus on these.
Deb, can I interrupt here for a moment? There's a question about corporate culture. If you're getting responses that about they don't like the company, they're not comfortable in the company, and that's the feedback they're getting from either exit interviews or even retention interviews, are you going to address how to change corporate culture so that it better fits a modern day work environment that people are drawn to?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the multiple tactics will impact that, but one of the tactics within this playbook will address that. And it will involve a PR firm and marketing firm to help you with that, unless you have an internal marketing department to help you with that, because
Okay.
you really need a campaign internally within your company to try to improve your own internal culture. So yes, I have one of the tactics to address that.
Right. And Deb,
right.
it's more than a facade. It's a reality of how does the company, what is the working model? What is the working environment? So people truly do feel part of.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
So number one, career page enhancement. I mean, there are so many things that we can do to enhance our career page. I have some of my clients, when I took them on as a sort of an applicant, I couldn't even find the careers page when you go to their website. So, that's what an applicant's going to see. But the careers page needs to be rich today. It needs to be inviting. It needs to talk about the culture. What are the values? I need to be able to find the values really quickly on your website. What are the 3 values that are important here? It needs to have absolutely positively some videos. And I have a couple of videos to share with you. You can sort of note those and take a look at those. They're the best videos I have seen, which attract candidates, and candidates love videos. They will go on a website and look at videos before they read any text, in my opinion. It needs to include your careers page mission. It needs to include employee testimonials. Candidates find more credibility in what other employees say than what the company is presenting on their website in terms of verbiage. They believe what other employees say. So employee testimonials, if they want to put their name, if they want to be anonymous, that's fine. Information about, if you have a company and 95% of the folks have been there for 10 years or more, that's a selling point. That's something that I'd like to see on a career website, because that says people stay here. And there's this company has something that offers folks. So you want to sort of put whatever positive statistics are out there on your company website. You want to make the application process super easy for them so that they can apply for a position, even though the position's not posted on your website. Sort of a general apply here button where they can give you the resume, because, that person who sends the resume today may fill a position that you're going to open up tomorrow or next week. So make it easy. A lot of the careers pages, you can only apply for a position that's open, so that if it's not open, you can't get the resume to the company. So you want to make it super easy. I would include a DE&I message. What is your company's position on DE&I? That's big today. Candidates care about that. Diversity, equity, inclusion. So even if it's a statement, but something about that, if you have a diversity committee, also you want to put that out there, because candidates today are interested in that. I would include Glassdoor posts. Go on Glassdoor, look at what people have said about your company who worked for your company. And then you basically put that on your website. This is what we see out there for Glassdoor. I would also have some message by the president and owner about employees and the value of employees. So those are the sort of the bare minimum that I would do. But this is a critical play, because an individual who's looking for a job is first going to go on Indeed. That's still the number one generator today, a job board. It used to be Monster years ago. It's still Indeed. And the second place they're going to go is your website. The third place they're going to go is Glassdoor. And I have heard this from every level of candidate that I recruit for, from an attorney to a receptionist. This is what I've heard. They see a job posted, they'll go second to the website, they'll go to Glassdoor third to see what everybody else has said about the company. So, and that's why I put these plays up front. These are 3 videos, in my opinion. These are the best videos that I have seen. They're all different types of companies, but check these videos out. I think they're less than 2 minutes each in terms of time. They're outstanding. And when a candidate views one of these videos, I believe that they're compelling, that they will move a candidate to want to work for this company and apply for the company. And, to your question, Steve, in the past, when you view these companies, you do get a sense of the company culture. And that's what, these particular companies are showing the world. So Easy Cater, Senior Link, and Miracle Connell, all different types of industries, but check these out. So your Glassdoor campaign, I recommend that you basically take a look at Glassdoor. I have actually implemented a Glassdoor campaign in several companies successfully, where you basically once or twice a year, you ask employees to post on Glassdoor their experience about your company. And Steve, back to your question about how do we change company culture, this is something you want to do when you have done some work on your company culture and you have improved that culture, because you're going to be asking employees to post on Glassdoor their experience. Of course, you risk somebody posting something negative, but if you're in a good position and your company culture is good and you have good employee satisfaction surveys, that most likely those who have post are going to post something positive. A lot of companies go out on Glassdoor and they see there's nothing about their company. Well, that's what a candidate sees too. So, this is a tactic that I've used, where if you ask, 100 people to post on Glassdoor, you're not going to get 100 people posting, but you're going to get a good majority of people who are satisfied with the company to say something good about the company. And that's helpful because candidates see that. Employee referral bonus is known within the HR world. There's been many studies and statistics that the Society of Human Resources has done, management has done, SHRM, on the value of employee referral programs. They're still known as the most effective means of recruiting, because typically the folks who refer somebody for the company that they work for have a greater chance of success because they already know the culture. Not a lot of employees like to put somebody forth that is maybe has shaky work ethic or something, because they feel it's going to reflect badly on them and they're a current employee. So usually this is the play that you want to maximize. And how would you do that? A lot of companies have a referral bonus and they maybe implemented it 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and it's really not, it's not publicized, it's not marketed internally. You really need to market it with a drip campaign, the type of things that Steve does, and a lot of other PR firms, where every quarter you're sending out different collateral, flyers, posters, emails, texts, to keep this employee referral bonus program alive and active and refreshed, so that it's dynamic. I've implemented in several organizations where they have a hiring crisis, where we do sort of a new rollout, and we double the bonuses, the referral bonuses, for a 3-month period, where you would increase your referrals and your candidate flow as a result for that 3-month period where there's a big push. I have also sent thank yous from the president of the company when somebody makes a referral, whether they were hired or not, and that generates continued interest. You post the top referrer or have contests for top referrer of the year or the quarter, or by department. Also, you can layer a referral program where you would get so much of a prize or a dollar amount for just submitting a resume, whether the person's interviewed or not, and whether the person's hired or not. If they interview, you get so much more. If they're hired, you get so much more. That's a layered program. And lastly, the only other, I think, really worthy tip I have is making the referral bonus for either anyone or to include your vendors, to include your customers, not just employees, to include former employees. If I have an individual who left the company and went somewhere else, but they made a referral and I made a hire out of that referral, paying that referral bonus to that former employee who is still an ambassador out there for you if they left in good stead. So lots that can be done with a referral bonus program. I would maximize that because that's just known in the industry to be a great generator of quality candidates. Play 4, partnership with schools. So I definitely would maximize this. There's a lot of willingness with schools. So whatever industry you're in, select the schools where you have some potential of creating a pipeline of future candidates. And this may be more of a long-term play, but it's worth it. Let me tell you one story. I was working in Maine at a hospital, and we had a inability to hire certified nursing assistants. Very competitive, a lot of hospitals, not a lot of certified nursing assistants. So we actually created a school to train certified nursing assistants. I hired them as a student. They sat in class. They were paid in class. Ultimately, after 3 years of the program, we were able to generate 25 to 30 students every year, guaranteed if they made it through the program successfully, and most did. So that we knew going forward, I at least had 25 to 30 new CNAs graduating. I mean, there are schools that do this, but we kind of just internalized that. I mean, that's the extreme. That's going to the nth degree, but there was so many other co-op programs schools would entertain with you, internships. Want to always have a couple of interns working in a position that you have a deficit of candidates in for the future. Even sending your leadership team in to partner with the schools to do presentations. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten candidates just from doing presentations myself, or sending a leader in to a school to do presentations, because every kid in the class who's listening to you goes home and tells their family that I just had saw a presentation from such and such a company, and that's a great company. I was really impressed. And of course, there's workers that they're at their home, and the family members are now interested in the company, and they tell someone else that, yeah, there was a presentation at the school and this company. It just is a good way to network. It's good community-based networking, and it is definitely a play worth pursuing. Number 5 is the targeted social media advertising with streaming rich graphic ads. So this is for Facebook, Instagram, and Google ads. That's specifically what that is for. But it is streaming to the candidates that you're looking for using artificial intelligence methods. And you would need a social media advertising expert to do this. They exist, but they stream colorful ads to the candidates. Just the same as you might receive ads, specific to your industry, and you wonder how it got to you. Well, they're using AI tools to get it to you, and it's all based on how you present yourself to the world, I guess, electronically, based on your job title. That's worth exploring, especially because younger employees are using social media a lot. And when you see a colorful, rich graphic ad, it gets attention. Engage an employer branding consultant. So, Steve, this kind of is the answer for the individual who is looking to work on their internal culture that may be impacting both retention and recruitment. I have some recommendations that I can send to you for an employer branding consultant. Certainly, I know you do this type of work as well. And they will help you create a drip marketing campaign internally to try to improve the culture and send messaging. And whether that be, again, emails, texts, posters, flyers, to the family members, letters, assuming you have a good employee relations program, you need that as a base, but helping to sort of market internally so you can improve your culture. So I'll offer some of those resources at the end. Sign-on bonus. Not sure whether you've thought about this or not, but a lot of hard to recruit positions, we are seeing success with sign-on bonuses. You can structure it any way you want. It is effective. It is something to think about if you you do have a deficit of candidates. And you can, by the way, align your sign-on bonus with your referral bonus amounts. A lot of employers are concerned about a sign-on bonus because obviously employees, generally not all that receptive with sign-on bonuses because it doesn't apply to them. But if you align the amount of your sign-on bonus with the amount of the referral bonus, such that the employee is going to receive no less than what a new applicant would receive coming on board, that does tend to increase the reception for the employee. Competitor poaching, and that's something that you need to think about, but you want to be cautious about that, right? Depending on what your relationship is with your competitors, but it is something to consider, particularly if you have competitors that are either out of the geographic area or, you don't have a working relationship with them, which you want to maintain. So that one you just need to consider for yourself if it's viable. Maximizing job site postings. There are so many. I mean, a minimum, Indeed is still the #1 job search board. But if you're looking for IT, you want to be on Dice. You want to definitely be, utilizing a LinkedIn, other niche job sites, Glassdoor, professional associations, ZipRecruiter. All of these sort of are mainstays. I think I would also make sure you're doing virtual job fairs. If you recruit enough, you can do virtual job fairs on Indeed, but you have to recruit a certain number of positions before they would allow that. You want to maximize Indeed. Indeed has a lot of resources. The more you recruit on it, the more that you would be able to utilize all of their functions. They have a find candidates function. It is a subscription, but it does give you access to candidates, as well as inviting candidates, and use the analytics on Indeed. You really do need somebody in your company that is an expert in Indeed, as well as LinkedIn. And I recommend highly Recruiter Lite for LinkedIn. For the hard to fill positions, because Recruiter Lite gives you the ability to do refined searches and reach out to the candidates. And I would do that more for professional positions and highly in technical positions as well. Maximize professional associations. Lot you can do if they have a job board. You want to minimally be posting there, but you want to be a sustaining member. You want to be on the board. You want to ask about them doing an email blast to all of the participants or all of the members. I have done this recruiting for paralegal. I got on the board of the Mass Paralegal Association with my company, and we became a sustaining member. And they now send out my job posting to 552 of their members every quarter, right to their personal emails, which I cannot have access to, but they can. In addition to that, we are now talking about providing webinars 3 times a year. Our internal company leadership will be providing webinars to their 500 some odd members. And at those webinars, you tend to get the folks who are interested in education and development attending those webinars. So you're getting the best and the brightest there. So you want to become one and a definite supporter of professional associations, because they will give you more options than other employers have been provided. My play 11 is for your HR staff, and not a lot of HR staff would like this. So I warn you, 24/7 recruitment today is not a 9 to 5. So your recruiters need to be interviewing in the evenings, the weekends, when the candidates are available. That's something that you need to talk to your recruitment team about, because folks aren't available typically during the typical business hours. Play number 12, Google keyword search campaign. This is something, again, a social media marketing expert can help you with, or a PR firm. You definitely want to sort of explore what they can do to get your company to the top. Seamless AI search. This is essentially using AI, and again, a PR firm to help you with, how can I find and target certain candidates with certain criteria. And as an example, an engineer, a very, very specialized engineer, with these keywords, the search is whatever they are posting on LinkedIn. It will sort of identify those keywords, and you will receive a list with their email addresses, their phone numbers, where they're currently working. And then you start to do cold calling and outreaching to those folks. You can also do a drip marketing campaign. And the one that I'm familiar with through Steve is through Sunbear and Steve's group, where you produce you have a graphic artist design a flyer or some collateral to present in front of the candidates. Send via an email a drip marketing campaign where they receive 3 emails in 9 days. We know when they're clicking on those emails. We know when they're then going to your company website, and those are the people that you want to pick up the phone and call and send an email direct from your company email to say, hey, I noticed that you clicked on this invite through our email campaign. Let's talk. Very effective if you are looking for a very specific search criteria. Play number 14, radio spot, newspaper, and billboard advertising. Don't discount this. Yeah, you could say that newspaper is an old school technique. People still read newspapers. And then, people who have relatives then tell others what they read in the newspaper. These are all viable options still today. Radio spots, they have a lot of options for radio spots. But again, I recommend a PR firm to help you with that, because they have the relationships instead of you dealing with, with these entities or these companies individually. You're going to get a better program designed if you deal with a PR firm to help you with those, because they have the relationships built and they know the nomenclature and the programs that are available. Best Workplace Awards. Lots of Best Workplace Awards in New England, in the Boston area, some in Southeastern Massachusetts area, but you want to apply to as many of these things as you can. And yet they're going to require data. Of your workforce, they will require data of your programs, your benefit programs, your employee relations programs, maybe satisfaction survey results, but this is worth getting. And I've done this at other companies where, and this is a gift that keeps giving, because if you receive a Best Workplace Award in 2021, that's something that you still put in your job postings. And candidates do pay attention to that. I ask the question of every candidate, why did you apply to my job posting? Because I'm looking for the answers that I can add to my playbook. I'm looking for the answers that I can use to fill my positions at the companies that I recruit for. And they give me the answers. And a lot of times they say something as simple as, well, I saw you had the Best Workplace Award. And of course, I say to myself, yeah, but that was 4 years ago. Of course, I don't say that to them, but it strikes me that once you receive a Best Workplace Award, as long as you're publicizing that, you're still going to get the benefit and the value of that, having received that award. So it's worth the effort of applying to some of these Best Workplace Awards because it's a long-term gain that you're going to get out of it. Flyer campaign, this may seem simple, again, old school, but I combine the old and the new, where you produce, and again, you need a graphic artist to really do a great job in a compelling piece of collateral where you could send out to whom? I send it to schools, libraries, community centers, fitness centers, wherever there are community boards to be posted. You want to kind of do a flyer campaign at least twice a year. I've had success with this in just about every position that I recruit for. It seems simple. And how do you know this? Again, I ask, how did you know of the position opening, as well as why did you apply for the, to my job posting? And, people do say, I saw a flyer. Even churches as well. A lot of them have bulletins. And I've seen ads posted as well there. Play 17, provide a company insider sign up and quarterly newsletter for applicants. So, if a person who applies doesn't get a position, or, there isn't a position open, you want to kind of sign them up in a separate database that you maintain, where you can have, and again, you can do this yourself internally, or you can have a marketing firm help you with this, where they send out maybe twice a year a newsletter to those applicants via email, just to keep them connected to the company. Once they have interest in the company, you kind of develop that interest and, keep them up to date on what's happening. And it could be a short one-page newsletter, but as long as it is something from the company to keep them close to you. Hold an annual combination open house job fair. So job fairs used to be really successful. Today, less so, where you have job fairs and nobody attends. I know that I heard last week of a VP of HR up in Ayer, Mass. She said she went to a job fair, and they had a local job fair in the community. And there were 29 employers, and there were only 10 candidates. So, I think that today you want to do a sort of open house to the community once a year, and combine it with a job fair where, if you do an open house, this is what our company is about. It's sort of a gala event. at your company, inviting, local political leaders, the community members, employees and their families, vendors. You want to make it such that it's a combination. You'll get more for your money than doing just a job fair. But the networking is what you get out of this. And you can do this yourself, or again, I lean on PR firms and marketing folks, because this is what their expertise is in event planning. You really need somebody to do a good job event planning and publicizing it beforehand. So you need two things, actually. Annual conference based on industry. So this would be if you have a specific job category that you're trying to attract, that you're always trying to attract, you want to be the one that has a keynote speaker, say, that's well known, that would attract candidates who want to come listen to that keynote speaker. And you could do this virtually, or you could do this in person. I've seen it done both ways. And I did it myself, again, at the hospital in Maine, where we had a keynote speaker come in a nursing arena. And we did have so many candidates who attended just to hear that keynote speaker, because it allowed them to get education credits, which they needed for all of their certifications. I walked out of that conference with a stack of resumes once a year. Again, you need somebody to help you do event planning and publicizing that event. But you become known in the industry, and there's benefit to that year round, because candidates know that, you are supportive of education if you're doing this every year. It's sort of the place to be. Like 20 is establish a monthly industry group. And this could be, and I've done this for an HVAC a mechanic, actually, where we had HVAC mechanic, HVAC supervisor positions, and we established a monthly industry group using a PR firm and the AI information. We sent out a invitation every month to folks in the industry and just invited them. And of course, now it's virtually, but it was in person initially, where they just come together and talk about what's happening in the industry. But it's, again, networking. That's where you learn about, those in the industry who are interested in their own development. And it's good networking for hunting for candidates. Military recruitment, I definitely would explore this. There's a lot of options for you. There's a lot of places to post. You can also go on Mass Hire and post for military candidates. There are programs called Skill Bridge, where you can have a military member in their last 6 months of their enlistment work for your company for free. They're actually paid by the government to work for your company. If they like the company and you like them, at the end of their enlistment, you can make a hire and make an offer to them. So that's called Skill Bridge. I would check that out. But there's a lot that can be done for military recruitment. I definitely would sign up for the, I think twice a year, they have a military recruitment job fair, and that's for those who are getting out of the military. I have some contacts for military recruitment, both in Massachusetts and on the East Coast, if you're interested. And recruiting people with disabilities, I have a list of, including mass rehab in Massachusetts, where you can post your position and talk to folks there about opportunities for people who have disabilities. Annual scholarship program, I think I would, and again, this is about culture. This is about community, how you look to the local community, developing a scholarship program for both employees, employee family members. You could expand it beyond where you have an annual scholarship and a program of application. And that tends to, again, just generate goodwill. A lot of the scholarship recipients at the companies that I have administered scholarship programs end up working for the company. If they're not an employee already, a lot of times it's family members. But sometimes, again, you can expand it to include customers, vendors, anybody related to the company can apply for the scholarship program. And it's, again, another method of generating candidates. I'll give you an example. We had at a company I worked for in Massachusetts for 20 years, we had a scholarship program, and we had maybe 15 to 16 candidates per year for our scholarship. And we had 2 scholarship programs a year, one employee based and one the family members of employees. So there were 15 people interested in the company and the scholarship. And then I had another maybe 10 or 11 people interested for the second scholarship. So, every contact that you have sort of, spawns off more contacts from that feel-good program, which is, again, it creates and generates goodwill and recognition for your company. Re-recruit declinations. So anybody who has declined an offer, you want to make sure that, at least on a, I would say, couple times a year, you're reaching out to those individuals. Just because somebody took another position and you lost them, you might be able to entice them back. Not every position works out. So this is something that you want to do on a more systematic basis. You want to keep a running list of those who have declined offers, and you want to do an outreach that is varied. You don't want to do the same thing all the time. You call them, you send a postcard, send a flyer, you send an email, you have their information. They definitely have interest in your position if you went all the way to making them an offer. Again, things don't always work out at new employers.
Deb, I just want to give you the 5-minute heads up that you've got 5 minutes left.
Okay.
And Joe, did you have a question you wanted to ask? Are you there?
No, she's been very thorough, so it's been answered.
Okay, good.
Thank you. All right. I think I'm on track here. So re-recruit those who have left us. This is really, really effective. And I keep a running list of, the kind of take a look at, okay, within the last 2-3 years, who would we love back? And who could we entice back? And you, again, use it in a systematic approach. Create your spreadsheet and your database. These are the 10 people that we would really love to have back. And then you do the same thing that you did on Play 24. Every 3 times a year, you make a phone call to them. You send them a birthday card. When their birthday is. They work for us. You send them a flyer or a postcard that ends up on the kitchen table. And make it one that that a PR firm has helped you design, so it's enticing, and it ends up on the kitchen table, and the spouse sees it and says, "Oh, geez, look, they love you back." It works. LinkedIn it works on LinkedIn as well. Email, you want to alter and vary the way that you communicate with them. Different messaging and vehicles. I've done this effectively. where, just want to make sure that, we made some recent changes, which would have in fact, affected your position. And these are the new things that are going on. And we're expanding here, there. Just want to keep you informed in the event that you want to explore and have a conversation about returning. It's as simple as that. It's information that they don't know anymore, right? Because they're not an employee. So they don't have access. They're not privy to what's happening in your company anymore. This is very effective because it's a known entity. You already know what they can deliver. And so I would put as much effort on this one, number 25, as I would on the top 3. Company leadership and community involvement. So I did this only at one company. So I only have one experience on it. But what this is, so if you have 10 company leaders, you basically have those company leaders participate in some community, a charitable organization, whether it be on the board, whether it be as a volunteer, their choice, but they become an ambassador at that particular organization. And I can't tell you, just in this one company, how many applicants we ended up getting from those different organizations that our management team members joined. So it's, again, you just kind of, you get your tentacles out there into the community. And if I have 10 management members and they join 10 different charitable organizations within my community, whether it be on the board, and there's 8 people on the board, and those people all have sons and daughters who are looking for jobs, and it goes beyond, other relatives. It just generates so much activity as it relates to recruiting. And that's, not the main purpose that you do it and you participate in those organizations, but there's a lot of benefits to something simple like that. And this is, again, only for company leadership team members, managers. Play 27, provide each new hire their first 4 assignment cards. The 4 assignments were, number 1, they are to find their mentor and connect with their mentor. So you do need a mentor program, which isn't their supervisor. It's somebody else that they could lean on and be close to. Number 2, they are to, within 90 days, post a Glassdoor comment about their experience at the company. Of course, we're going to assume that it's going to be positive. We're going to hope it's going to be positive. And number 3, they're going to meet with the HR manager for lunch on the 90th day, and they're given an invitation to meet with the HR manager or the supervisor or the business owner, just as a check-in for them. And number 4, they're going to write about their experience, again, on the company. If you have an internal company blog or an intranet, they're going to write about their experience, because, again, you want new employees after them to see their good experience. So those are, and they're given a sort of flashcards, 4 flashcards that they have to do when they start. This works. It seems silly, but it does work. Grow your own is kind of developing your pipeline, again, getting interns in there for every position you are struggling with, or creating that sort of CNA class that I talked about. Growing your own is a sort of a second tactic. Yes, we're going to go out and we're going to hunt, but we're also going to grow our own on the back end. So you need to be doing kind of 2 things at the same time. And the last thing is be creatively responsive to the times, right? So HR has to get out of the box, and really business owners, not just HR. And what do I mean by that? Well, this is an idea that I have at least one company exploring right now, due to the high gas prices. We're looking to distinguish ourselves from other like companies. having a hard time doing it, right? We're all paying about the same. We're all offering the same benefits. We all offer the same work. So how do you do something different? We're looking at a transportation stipend because of the high gas prices. And, this is something that I actually talked to my dad about, and it's responding right now to the times where you offer a transportation stipend to all employees and candidates. Limited time period. We don't know how long it's going to last. Company can choose to, terminate it at any time, but not seeing this on any of the job posts, not seeing any employer responding to the times. But this is a play that has potential. And like I said, I have one company right now that is working on implementing this to pull us out of the pack and to offer something more than what others are offering. And I don't know if there are any more questions, or Steve, you want to provide the sort of information on, the PR and social media
No, I think
experts.
Deb, thank you. It was a very thorough presentation. What I'd like to do is be able to offer this PowerPoint to folks as a follow-up, those who were here and those who had intended to be here but got caught by something else. And we will provide your contact information as well so they can get a hold of you. But I greatly appreciate your time and the amount of thought and effort you put into this and detail, because I think it gives people a real good sense of the integration of the many tactics they need to use in a challenging market, and people are the difference. We know that. So thank you very much. And for those who are with us, we look forward to sharing other monthly webinars and events with you. Stay tuned. We will share email and other outreach to you. And Deb will continue to share work, and thank you for your
Thank you so
terrific
much.
presentation.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All
Hope
right.
it was helpful.
Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.